How you want to do it?
This is Kings and Queens interview, and today I am interviewing with Mr. Carter.
That's so fake. Babe, you don't even sound like that.
I'm an interviewer. Ain't that how
Yes,
interviewers
my
sound?
mother is
No, you're supposed to
interview.
be transparent.
Okay. This is Queens and Queen.
Right.
Take two.
Take 5.
This is Kings and Queens interview, and today I am interviewing Mr. Carter.
That's all right. Yeah. Like you was holding your breath. All right, we just gonna hop into it because that's clearly not working.
But how we ain't gonna have no intro?
Oh no, I set you up.
Why?
This is the video.
This is the video?
Yeah, this is the video.
Why would you do that?
Because I wanted to be as transparent before you try to put on the white girl.
But what do you mean?
Yeah.
Why? Okay, we're going.
Welcome to This is the Carters. See how you? Yeah.
It's a strong name.
Right, let's get these questions.
Okay. So today we're interviewing Mr. Carter.
What was that?
That's what interviewers do. You gotta make eye contact.
Well, why your face turn like that?
Because you gotta make contact with the audience. Then I gotta go back and talk with you.
Oh my goodness, it's not that complicated. Let's just talk.
Okay.
Jesus Christ.
So, Mr. Carter, who are you?
Who am I?
Who are you?
I'm me.
And who is that?
I'm a father, husband, and all that good stuff.
Okay. I mean, elaborate. When
Babe,
you
hold
look
on,
in the
no
mirror,
time out.
who
Stop.
do you see and
Babe,
why?
just talk to me.
I am talking to you.
Not
These
like
my questions.
I understand.
On my interview.
You throw me off because you talking to me like some lady that's interviewing me. It's an interview, but just
Exactly.
talk to me.
I am talking to you.
Well, what do you think about? It's not okay. Do you remember your questions?
No.
All right, we just about to talk. Then you interview me with the questions that come to your head. You use that as a reference. So hit me. Relax and just talk to me.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Should I call you Chris
Babe,
or Mr. Carter?
Babe, just talk to me. Ask me some questions.
Okay. How was your day?
It was all right.
It was all right.
Yeah.
Why just all right?
Could have been better.
Why?
Because it was a rough week.
Yeah. Right. But what made it rough?
You know what made
for
it rough?
You?
That little girl made it rough.
I didn't make it rough.
Yes, you did too.
No, it didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, it didn't.
Oh, you made it rough as hell. Yes, you did.
Can we restart this interview?
This is the real life
It's not my
of the
fault.
Carters. This is what really happens.
My fault. It's your fault.
Y'all see the faces and the smiles. Yeah, this is what happens. This is real.
Okay. So bad.
Mm-hmm.
How was your 2020? How, like...
Up and down.
Up and down.
Yeah, but good though. Good. 2020 was, because we gotta think, we had 3 different transitions. The first year, we just went out, spent a lot of money, and just relaxed. Second year was kind of like preparation. Now this is with third year, right?
Second.
Okay, so second year was preparation, a lot of movements, but I still see like it was preparation for what's to come. Mm-hmm. In the third year, I feel like it's going to be a work year.
A lot of work. Yeah. So
I can hear.
2021.
Mm-hmm.
What's the
I can
goals?
hear the music.
Goals for 2021. build credit, make some good investments, build credit, make some good investments, complete about
Have a baby.
have a baby. Yeah, that's uh finish school. I should be done with school this year. Finish school. That's it.
Bad, not bad.
Baby, you still talking to me like an interview. Not bad, not bad. Go back to your notes.
My notes get deep now.
All right,
Okay.
no, I got you. I'm gonna start. I'm gonna start off something. You supposed to be the interviewer.
Yeah, I am interviewing. This is what I do.
Okay, go ahead. You got it.
You want me to use my notes?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Okay. Let's go back to
There you
a
go
few
back to
years
that
ago.
daggone what's the name voice. Talk to me like you talk to me, babe.
I am.
All right.
I said we're going to go back to a few years ago.
Now that's your real voice right there. No, go ahead.
Okay, a few years ago.
How long we talking?
I can't hear.
5. What is it like being a black male with a fella and succeeding?
It's not what people think. See, a lot of people think that when you get locked up and you come home, your life is going to be like, oh, he's a felon, oh, he's a felon. Majority of people don't even know that I was ever locked up. You know, I done had more than, you done seen me get, like last year, this year, I had 4 jobs. Last year, I had 3 jobs. But I quit these jobs just to focus on different things. But, you know, people think that when you get locked up, I guess it depends on your mindset. Because if you coming home and you don't change anything, or if you going back to the same thing and acting the same way, then you're not gonna see no different results. So for me, I feel like just like you could say, what does it feel like to not grow up with a father? So I would have one perspective on not growing up with a father, but then another perspective on how it is to be a father. So you got one person perspective, how it is to come home when you're a felon, and one person might say, well, man, life was hard for me. I couldn't get a job. I couldn't see my kids. I couldn't. Only thing I did was just go back to the streets. That's what a lot of people would say. But for me, my mindset was just different. Some things that happen in your life, you have a choice to choose if you're going to let this thing define you. And I chose early on to study myself and figure out what was it that made me tick. And I chose to move forward. It was a choice. It didn't have to go the way it went. I chose to get a job. I chose to be in my kids' life. All of that stuff was a choice.
And what made you choose to do that? Like, when did you decide?
Got tired.
You got tired.
Got tired. Because I wasn't perfect. I still was, even when I came home, every now and then I was smoking, drinking, and I got tired because there was I had my ups and downs. I went through a homeless time. I went through a time where bad relationships, and I got tired. I got tired of not progressing because I was always the type of person. Mentally, I have to progress in some type of way. So if I'm stagnant in any way, or if I feel like, I'm not moving forward in life, or this situation is not helping me, then I have to do something to change it. Just like if I'm working a job, I try to be a manager. I don't try to, if I have started a crew member, I move my way up to a manager. And even that wasn't enough because I'm also a business person. So I wanted to own my own business.
Okay.
That's crazy.
Here.
You're actually reading what they say.
Okay.
And can't even hear, but you know
hear
the
it.
song. You got some good memory. Cause you can't even hear, but you reading the song. Yeah, so I wish you would play "Stupid" again, cause you smart.
We recording.
I know we're recording, but I like it. That's transparency. But go ahead, next question.
When did you find your true relationship and love for God?
I was locked up.
And how did that
Nah,
occur?
nah. It getting beat.
Mm-hmm.
That's what started it. I went to church when I was a kid, and getting beat always. That's what started my relationship with God, cause my mother used to take me to church. I didn't know who God was. I just know I heard God, 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 God. And I remember one day I snuck out the window and sat on top of the roof, looking up at the moon, thinking that the moon is God. And I got in trouble for that. I got beat for that. But that was the initial start of my conversations with God.
Mm-hmm.
So love didn't come till I was locked up, because even as I started getting older, it was so many voids there. It was so many different voids that it was hard to focus on a relationship with God, because I don't even know. You don't know what a relationship with God is until, I'm gonna say, you have a isolated space to actually have a one-on-one with God. Life was moving so fast for me that I didn't have time to focus on God. I ain't have time to have that one-on-one. But once everything slowed down, and I ain't have no choice but to depend on Him, and sometimes even dependency, you gotta be careful, because it'll play tricks on you. So I tested God. It wasn't like I just said, "Okay, God, I'm gonna believe in you and I'm gonna trust in you and everything." No, I tested God. I asked God to reveal something to me, or I'd be like, "Okay, God, I'm in here. Show me a sign." And what happened is I started reading stuff in the Bible, and then it started happening in real life. So once I started seeing stuff happen before my eyes, that's when I started getting a deeper connection, and I started going to Him with situations, and certain scriptures stuck out to me, like, "Cast your cares upon me, for I care for you." So I learned that I had a lot of burdens on my shoulders. So what I did was, "Okay, you want to take it? Go ahead, take it." And so I felt lighter. So it's more like He pushed me into loving Him. It wasn't like I ran to fall in love with Him. He pushed me to fall in love, because He did so much for me. So then it's like I have no choice but to say, "Yeah, it was you."
Mm-hmm.
But there you go.
Okay. So your childhood, you growing up in the church and getting beat.
Mm-hmm.
What was your overall childhood like?
You getting beat? I didn't know you gonna talk like this, lady. Now you gonna
Welcome
put the
to my
serious face
interview.
on. Oh, now you want to be.
Welcome to Miss Carter's interview.
It was bittersweet, because as a parent now, I see some of my errors. My biggest issue was lack of communication. I didn't know how to talk about what I felt, and I expected my mother to automatically know what I feel. And so by me having that lack of knowledge on being taught how to communicate, a lot of stuff was bottled inside. Father was never there. My mother had 4 kids, working a lot of jobs, so it was a lot of pressure on her. But the discipline, I'm gonna say, the discipline for me is what I felt like. I wasn't a bad kid.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like, I don't do too much, but I just ate. And that was my problem. I was a little fat boy, so I wanted to eat everything and eat up all the Park Tarts and sneak in the fridge, and that was my issue, was with my hands.
Do you feel like you wasn't a bad kid, but maybe other people did? Like maybe your mother felt like you was a bad kid?
Not at all.
Mm-hmm.
Not at all. Because it's mixed messages. You get one message when you go over family member houses, and all the family members saying, "Oh, he's so good, and I watch him anytime, and I never have any issues out of him." And then you have my mother also saying the same thing. "Chris, I never had or felt pain from you, and every time I call everybody else, you're the only person that comes." So it was mixed messages.
Mm-hmm.
Now, which as a parent now I understand, because when your child does something bad, then you feel like, you know, uh, it's kind of like a switch. I remember she told me that one time. She said I don't understand you. Like you sit right there. It was like a time where I cleaned up the whole house. Now this I was probably like 9. I cleaned the whole house, rearranged the living room, cooked dinner for everybody. But then I messed up because I did something bad, and it threw her off because she like, okay, you just did all of this and then you did something else, and it threw her off because she couldn't understand how could somebody that makes you so happy makes you so mad at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Was there ever a time in your life or even currently that you don't feel at peace with yourself or haven't felt at peace with yourself or your trials and errors through life?
But right now,
Anytime.
you gotta be more specific now, or like if you ask me right now, I'm gonna tell you no. Like I'm at peace with everything.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take me long now because I have a better understanding of my feelings than I did back then. So the what I feel now is more easier for me to get over things than how I used to be. So it's a perspective of time. So if you ask me like how do I feel um, in general, then I could just say no. I get over stuff fast.
Mm-hmm. And before?
Before it was hectic
Why?
because lack of communication. Never got taught on how to talk. So I use different things to try to cope with that. Mostly isolation, music, poems, drawing. That was my way of releasing that void. Because, like I said, the biggest thing was the void when I never knew what a father was until my mother's first husband.
Mm-hmm.
And I was probably like around 11 around that time, somewhere around there, or younger than that. But no male figure, so it was something missing. And by it being something missing, that void caused other feelings to spring up. So, okay, I don't know what a father is. At this point in time, I never really seen a man. My mother didn't have no men coming around like that. Besides, I do remember certain situations, but not really no full-time men that's going to be around. So, in elementary school, and then in elementary school, I got bullied in elementary school. So it was feelings that I never got to talk about. The time I remember I poked my teacher in the back of the head because she kept sitting her funky tail on my desk while telling everybody else to go to sleep. And that kind of made me mad. So I put my fingers like this and I poked her in the back of the head. And guess her name was Miss Carter. Her name was Miss Carter, but that lady pissed me off. But when I did that, she yoked me up. Don't you ever put your hands on me. So, but it's just when you don't learn how to express what you feel. Like my mother never knew I was bullied. A lot of people never knew I was bullied. So by 2 little boys, I remember, and they used to clip me up while I'd be walking. They just clip me up, and that produced anger because I felt like they was playing with me. So that anger I never spoke about. Mm-hmm. So, which it makes sense. It makes sense, like, when I think about it now, because when I went home and you go home and you can't talk about your day because everybody's so used to you smiling. So my mother never knew something was wrong with me because I always smiled. Right. So all of that stuff was just over the years building up.
Right. Interesting. How do you overcome or cope with your personal demons?
Fight them head on. I be real with myself. If I'm weak at something, I'm weak at something. If I'm strong at something, I'm strong at something. So I feel like if you be honest with yourself, like if you got a lust problem, right? And you say, okay, well, I struggle with lust. Now, you could either fight that, okay, I'm going to fight against that today. I don't know what I'm going to do tomorrow, but today I'm going to fight against that. So, I'm the type of person that I do what I feel. If I feel lazy this day and I don't feel like doing nothing today, then I'm just not going to do nothing. but I have like gaps where I can gather the strength to do what I need to do. So if it's something that I feel like, I pay attention to how I feel. If I feel like I'm in a down state and I just haven't been feeling myself, that's when I start thinking about what's going on with me. Okay, what am I feeling? Am I feeling anxious, nervous, anxieties, depression, anger? What is it that I'm feeling? And once I can distinguish what I feel, then I learned something when I was locked up. I told you about the time I was in a shoe, and that's how I learned how to do it. I was in a shoe for 10 months for messing around with an officer. And while I was in the shoe, after like 6 months, I felt like the walls was closing in on me, and I had to look around, but I had to mentally break myself before I went crazy. So I looked around. I said, "Okay, I got a toilet right here. I got a shower right here. I got my desk right here. I got my bed right here." So throughout that, I learned how to mentally train myself to focus on other things despite what my body feels. So that's how I fight against my demons. If I'm angry, I can feel the heat from the anger, I can feel everything, but I choose to focus on something else or occupy my mind. Another thing, because I'm a very mental person, so a lot of things for me comes from my mind. So if I can control my mind, I can control everything else.
What's your biggest fear in life?
No fear.
No fear. Why? A lot of people have a fear of something about life or their life in particular.
I don't have no fear.
You used to?
No. And I think the reason why I'm like that and the reason why I don't have no fear is because of my perspective and what I choose to believe in. So, like, let's say I once again I trained myself to be like that because I remember when I was a kid, um, it used to be this trail in DC. It used to be this trail, and it'll be pitch black at dark time. And I used to always be scared to walk through that trail because of all the woods. You couldn't see anything. So what I did was one day I just walked through, and I was nervous, I was scared, but I pushed through it. And that was the first time that it wasn't nothing.
So you overcame your fear
Exactly.
of the unknown.
Exactly. And I come to learn that with me, it's not even fear. It's nervousness. I get nervous more than I get scared. Like, like I told you about the time I used to sing and singing in front of people. Every time I would go up, I get nervous. It doesn't matter how much I practice. It doesn't matter. Every time I get nervous, but I just do it. So pushing, I believe that pushing, for a lot of people, it don't even be fear. It's just things that they put up until they actually do. Like, remember that time I was trying to catch that rat? And that rat was huge as hell, but I couldn't.
You was scared.
I wasn't
nervous.
scared.
You was
I
nervous.
was nervous.
You was really nervous.
I was nervous. Now me and Pooch, we killed another rat, but that rat right there was a big rat. And his tail, when he jumped, I said, "Oh no, my boot ain't gonna work on this rat." So it's not fear. It's not fear.
Mind over matter, right?
I do got one fear. My biggest and one and only fear is being disconnected from God. It was one time when I was in the streets and I came home. I've been home for probably 2 years, and I was smoking and drinking heavy, and everything started falling apart. Relationship going bad, place going bad, no job, and I was walking, and I had got drunk. I bought me a bottle, got drunk, smoked my cigarettes, and while I was walking, I started going on God like, why you put me through this? Why you putting my mother go to church? I done seen my mother go through so much stuff, and she believe in you, and I'm going through all this, but I ain't do nothing. I done spent all these years praising your name, preaching in your name, helping people, doing what I'm supposed to do. I ain't out here robbing nobody. I ain't out here killing nobody, because at that point in time, I'm broke. Everybody else is moving forward, whether they hustling, selling drugs, stealing stuff, robbing people. Everybody's moving forward in some type of way. And I felt like, man, what's the point? If I might as well go ahead and hit the streets because everybody else is making it their way. So why would I sit here and be broke waiting on you and I see everybody else moving? So that was the one time when God actually knew you. And you can feel it. If God take his hand off you, I felt it. Like, I felt it, and it was lonely. And I never felt that lonely. Even when I was by myself, even when I was younger, I never felt lonely. Loneliness was never an issue for me because I always felt like a presence. But once he took that off, it was like a chill. A chill goes over your body, and you just feel cold. But that's all.
A lot of times we talk about dropping jewels. You drop a lot of jewels. So for people who don't know, what is dropping jewels?
Dropping jewels is wisdom. Wisdom not just based off of my experience, but a lot of people experiences, spiritual experiences for me, the word of God, and also just being transparent. So I use all of those things in one, not to be biased to, I believe in right is right, wrong is wrong. I'm not going to take sides. I don't care if I like you. I don't care if you family. I don't care who you are. I'm not going to choose sides. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, you're wrong. And I'm going to tell the truth. That's being transparent. Spiritual wise, I can see things before they happen. That's one way I can drop jewels because I can decipher a situation and see, well, okay, this is going on and I can see the future for this certain perspective partially and try to help shape and mold or pull that into a better situation or a better future. But that's dropping jewels.
Right. With having a different perspective than most people, do you think your perspective about life or anything in general affects the people around you?
Always.
Why?
You know why, lady? Because
This man can be difficult sometimes.
people are not ready for certain things. And I come from a place where God, I put it like this. God put me through, I'm only 28, but he put me through expedient teachings through different things. So I had to learn faster than other people's. So what you might get away with, I won't get away with. What you don't get in trouble for, I get in trouble for. What you can take 5 years to do, I only got 1 year to do. So it's, my life was kind of like condensed at an early age where I can feel and see everything. And over time, my relationship with God was so genuine that he opened my eyes to a lot of different things. And so my perspective, you done seen it. I done told people stuff before it happened. And what I have learned is that sometimes I had to be careful what I say because when somebody's not willing to change or they not willing to take your advice, they'll take it for a short-lived second and then wind up falling into a hole. So I'm still trying to learn how to manage, talking to people about the stuff that I see. But my perspective, yeah, it changes everybody that's around me. Even if it's for a slight moment, that interaction, and what I learned over time, it helps me to automatically just know what to say to you. I know what to say. I can feel what you're going through, and I give you the advice. But you and I both know, because you're a hard-headed one, the one that tells me, babe, I know you might be right, but just let me hit my head. I need to hit my head sometimes, babe. Just let me do it. I'm like, all right, if you do that, it's not going to end well. I know, babe, but just, please, babe, just let me. All right, go ahead, do you. But that's why I am the way that I am. I'm the same way with you, the same way with the kids, the same way with everybody else. if I give you something, it's up to you what you're gonna do with it. And like I say, I give people the rope, I let them hang themselves. I will help you, I will minister to you, I will be there for you, I will love you, be kind, and all that stuff. But I don't take no mess either.
Okay.
Mm.
All right.
Interview lady, you got something to drink?
Yeah, right there.
All right. When we really start YouTubing, I'm gonna be advertising. I don't know if y'all can see this. We got look, the thing's so bright you can't even see it. This Arizona.
Married life. We've been married for a year now.
Yeah.
How's it going for you?
What do you mean?
How's married life going for you? This is your first marriage. This is my first marriage.
Yeah. My perspective is different from yours. So for you, oh my God,
you can't tell me my perspective.
I'm married, and oh
that's
my God,
not my perspective.
That's how you was in the beginning.
That's the beginning.
But this is what I'm saying. That's how you was in the beginning. Me, I was like, okay, we just doing this to solidify this in the court. We already been married for 6 months now. So let's just go to the court, get this done. But for me, marriage, the certificate, the ring, the all that stuff didn't solidify the union to me. And that's my perspective on that. I don't feel like a piece of paper can dictate to me how I feel about you. Because that piece of paper can get burnt up. That piece of paper can get torn up. That piece of paper can get thrown out. So that doesn't solidify marriage for me. Now, how was the first year of marriage? I can't really say anything to that based off of what I just said because it's not about the marriage.
Right. It's
so,
more so about the connection.
Yeah.
Right?
So
how was the connection within that first year?
Yeah. Changes. Because I had a goal in head. A goal in my head. So like we just went through the process of, you don't hug me no more and you don't kiss me no more. And my perspective is, look, we got work to do. Let's get to this next level. Because I look at it like this. If we're going to be together for 100 and something years, 800 years, and whatever we going to be together, that's a long time to be together. So I got time to give you hugs and kisses. But love is not going to pay the bills. Love is not going to. So my perspective is, look, let's settle down, get this stuff together. We already married. We already got kids. We already live together. So the basics are already done. We already have a friendship. We already have all these things. So my perspective was, let's